Hello there. Hi. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Ayan, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today I have for you part two of my 30 Inks 30 Days April 2023 recap. I have days 16 to 30 to recap with you, and then I'll go over the whole month at the end, pick some favorites, and maybe show those swatch cards for you close up. To show how the inks shade. And then just what I'm using. So this is an A6 Hobonichi Techo original for 2023. I'm using the calendar page to just write the brand, ink name, and make a little swatch using the pen. And then I have here for the writing samples, I am transcribing Anne of Green Gables in this Jet Pens Kanso Noto notebook. This is an A5 dot grid notebook that has Tomoe River paper. This is the Jet Pens exclusive notebook. So I'm just using that to transcribe and make a writing sample for each ink. So I'm making 1 page per day. And then the next one, I am using this pen. I use this TWSBI Go fountain pen. In the clear one, I inked this up like the night before, and then make the writing samples and the swatches, and then the following day I'd be using this ink for the day. So this one has a medium nib, but if I want, if there's like shimmer, like if the shimmer particles are like maybe a little bit more, like the particles are bigger, I would switch it up with this medium, with this broad nib. This is a TWSBI mini replacement nib unit. So I just take out this nib and feed, and then switch it out. Swap it with the nib on this TWSBI Go. Just swap it around. Just just when I need a broad nib. So there's that. And then on the other side, so for the other part, the daily pages, what I've been doing is making a swatch. So this is from day one. So what I'm using is, I'm using this glass muddler that I got from AliExpress. Yeah, it works like a glass nib pen, all without the, what do you call it, flutes. I dip the ink, I just make a swatch over here, make a line, go back just to show a darker side and a lighter side, and then I use the pen to write what nib I'm using, ink brand, the name, just a little bit of a scribble. And then at first I used the Quick Brown Fox, then I made like a little bit of a coat, but then on day 3 I started using this the Indispensable Dictionary of Unusual Words by Sefa Heifetz Byrne. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Anyways, so this one is a gift from a work colleague, and it has some really unusual words, as it said in the title. And then I used that to make the writing sample on this notebook as well. So that's what I did. So for this, now I'll give you a flip through of the inks I used during the month. Day 16, I used Dominant Industry Dusk. This is a Cult Pens exclusive. Cult Pens, which is a stationery store in the UK. So this one is a like grayish purple ink, and I like it because it's very understated, even though it has shimmer. Although the shimmer is a little, excuse me, it's a little bit inconsistent. So it doesn't show up on every line, just here and there. But the flow, I would say it's average. It's not dry. I think Dominant Industry inks tend to be on the wet side, and it behaved quite nicely. And there's also a bit of a shading, so it's very nice. So I'll just put this closer just for you to see. Yeah, I really like making swatch like this, like using the pen to just fill in like a block, because it shows you the color, but it also like shows you more of the characteristic of the ink more than when you do a big swatch like this. Next up, we have our next ink. This is actually I thought it was Melbourne. Yeah. I did assume and didn't really double check the label, but this is actually Melbourne from Robert Oster, their Aussie CDs series. This is a sample from Pen Friend, and it's a red orange, I would say, but more redder. And the writing sample is very, like, the shading on this ink, very nice. It flowed really well too. I really enjoyed using this ink in this writing sample. Third ink, we have Colorverse Glistening Brain. This one is a shimmer ink, a really nice shade of olive green. I think the green shimmer makes it very you know, not as it makes it stand out from the rest of the greens out there. The shimmer is also quite consistent, although towards the bottom of the page the pen started writing a little drier, but I still did enjoy using this ink. And the next ink, we have Sailor Manyo Akebi. I got this sample from Yoseka Stationery. So I'm not really into pink, fuchsia, magenta colors, but this one I tried because I'm looking for a pink that I can use, like writing letters to pen pals, just, you know, a different kind of pink than I have in my collection. And this one is really nice, flowed really well, and there's also like a golden sheen, and you know, you cannot really go wrong with a Sailor ink anyway. And this is the writing sample. It has shading too, and the sheen does show up in writing, which is nice. I like it. You know, it's indicative of how ink is flowing, because usually if it's like a drier ink, you won't really see the sheen, because sheen shows up as the ink dries. You know, like if you have ink on the paper, the more ink you have, the more sheen you'll get. Anyways, the next ink is at least, okay, backtrack. I'm not an expert, but that has been my experience. Okay, moving on. This is Diamine ink. Um, it's also a Cult Pens exclusive. This is from their summer series. The name is Gray Skies No More. I do have a lot of, well, I do have a few gray inks already, but I got this because of the name, honestly. But it's also very pretty. It has a lot of different hues that would show up, especially in big swatches. Even in like the writing sample, you'll see some hints of pink, something pinkish, and I really like that. But in the writing sample, you'd see a lot of shading. At some point, it would look really illegible because the lighter parts are really light, and then the darker parts where the ink pools is really dark. But for me, this has been quite a dream to use this ink, because usually lighter diamine inks tend to write dry, but this one was actually pleasant. Next up, we have Sailor Yurameku Amamoyoi. So this ink is very beautiful. It's a chroma shader. There's like light green, a dark green halo, and it's quite interesting. I should say. I would just like to show you what it does. This is my journal. This is a Stalogy notebook, and this is what the ink did. when I clean my pens, I just drop the inks onto my journal and just let it dry. Sometimes I would like have some tool to blow the inks to the space, but yeah. So this is a Momoyoi. This is what it does in a Stalogy paper. It's really it's nice. And anyways, that's a tangent. But I'll get you closer. Yeah, it also has very nice flow and shading, and the chromo shading actually shows up on the writing sample, except it doesn't show the darker green in writing, so that's kind of unfortunate. I can't see it here, but yeah, really nice ink. Loved it. And then the next ink is another pink. I just wanted to try this. This is a sample that came a random sample pack from Venice. I put in an order a little while ago. This is Penonia Vata Kukor, or Cotton Candy. So this is not like a neon pink. I don't know how I would categorize this ink, but it's actually very I don't know if I have a pink that looks like that, but I would say it does. Yeah, I don't know, but it's just a pink, but not kind of reminds me of cherry blossom, or maybe cherry blossom from Robert Oster, but probably not that close. It just reminds me of the color. And then while I'm looking up, I see Horsehead Nebula might be a little bit similar to this ink, except this doesn't have shading. I'm not so sure, but yeah, this is the writing sample. Nice shading. I can't remember whether or not this was about the flow on this ink, This is the 22nd. I'm just going back in my journal, just to see if if I wrote anything in particular about the ink, because usually I do that, like a commentary on what I'm using. As apparently I said I didn't like it. I don't know why. I didn't say any reason, but probably it's because of the color. Yeah. Anyways, next up I have Alpha Leo by Colorverse. This is a new release. I got the sample from Venice. I got only 2 of the new releases, like the Constellation series. I only got Alpha Leo and then Alpha Taurus, which I used like a couple days later. This one is a shimmer ink, so it's a yellow ink, banana ink. And just for comparison's sake, this is the second day ink, which is Birmingham Goldfish. Certainly after I swatched this ink, I thought, oh, looks like goldfish. But this has blue shimmer and it's pretty. I watched Inksplat. Amanda swatched the new inks and she said she didn't like this. I would understand. This yellow is not for everybody, but I kind of like it. I'm a Leo, so maybe I'm biased, but I think it's kind of interesting. So here's a little bit of a shimmer show. Look at this. Cutie. Anyways, writing sample, and let me just make sure. I'm sorry about the flipping of pages. I like that sound, but I don't know about you. So yeah, flowed really well. Behaved well in any paper I tried it with. And I used a broad nib in this, so yeah, I forgot to tell you whether I'm using a broad nib or not, but it's not that important, honestly. But the shimmer is quite subtle. You won't really see it unless you're looking for it, and then it's like it surprises you when you like shift the angle of the paper. It's like, oh, something's shiny there, and that's nice. Next up, day 24, I have Colorverse, Eye on the Universe, Pillars of Creation. I ordered this alongside the samples. So I think from the 22nd until the end of the month, I used recently acquired samples. So yeah, they're all from Venice or Yoseka Stationery. But anyways, I got this from Venice. I have like 2 pairs from the Eye on the Universe series from Colorverse, and I'm really interested in this one. So I am trying it. I tried it and I loved it. It's, I don't know, it's a dark purple with green sheen, and I mean, there's a lot of those. One is like Lil Bob from Diamine, which I already used this month. But this one is darker and it's actually really like a deep purple. And on the writing sample, at first glance, it looks black, which reminds me of Chushu, which I used in the first half. If you want to see that, check out the part 1. But in the writing, it looks black, which makes it an ideal ink for work, because I like writing notes at work, but you know, using this would not be like, it would be fun for me, but if anybody has to read my notes, then not quite fun for them. But yeah, so there's ink for day 24. Really loved it, flowed really well. Just it was a good experience. Next up, day 25, we have Kyoiro, Moonlight of Higashiyama. This is another a sample I got from Yoseka Stationery. I don't know about this ink. I like kind of like this shade of like orangey brown, but yeah, maybe a little bit boring, I would say. There's not a lot going on, even with the shading. But I think it wrote a little bit drier than what I'd like. But there's like some haloing in there where the ink pulls. It's okay. It's an okay ink, but yeah, as I said, it wrote kind of dry. That's why it looks like there's a lot of shading, but yeah, it wasn't as pleasant. And then let's move on. Day 26. I love this. This is Vinta Inks Isabella, and it's a dusty pink with gold shimmer and really pretty. This is what I think the other name is liquid sepia, which doesn't make sense to me because sepia, I have a bit of an opinion on what sepia looks like. Anyways, this one, the shimmer, I know Vinta makes good shimmers. I mean shimmers. Shimmer inks. They make good shimmer inks, and this one is one of them. I'm sorry, I've been twisting the page, just, you know, because I like seeing the shimmer. I am not usually into shimmer inks. I have a few bottles and a few samples, but I don't usually ink them up in my pen. I only get to try them with 30 inks, 30 days. So I really enjoyed this. I think this one is one of my favorites for sure, and flowed really well. Loved the experience. The color is really nice. I enjoyed it really, and it's just a gorgeous ink. Anyways, next up we have the other Constellation ink. This is Alpha Taurus from Colorverse. Another one for the wind column. This one is like a burnt orange color. It has some kind of a greenish sheen, but it doesn't show up really unless you like piled on the ink. And this one, it's very pretty, and the flow is like a little bit above average, but and the shading with brown inks, you know how if it's a bit of on the yellow side, it looks like it's like shiny, or it looks really bright because of the shading, because of the contrast between the lighter shade and then the darker shade. And this one does that as well, even though it's not like a yellowish brown, and I really like it. It's pretty. Yep. Next up, this is Venice Fountain Pen Day 2022 ink. It's a turquoise and it's so pretty. Like this aqua minty color. It's nice. And the swatch looks really interesting too. So that's very, yeah. But the writing sample, it tended to like get a little drier towards the bottom of the page, but yeah. But I think somehow my pen could be the problem. We don't know, but there's that. And I actually enjoyed this one. And this was the Friday ink, like day 28. And then when I got to work, I'm using it, and I realized I wore just the same shade of sweatshirt. I think, yeah. This, okay, so this one, day 29, is Noodler's Sequoia. I have a sample, and this is an old sample, so I've had it for a while. I haven't featured it in 30 days, so I thought, let's just do it. And it's a dark green, and it writes wet, so it's okay. But I posted the pictures on Instagram, and I said I just wish I skipped it. I don't know why. It wasn't a pleasant experience. I didn't even write it for a whole page in my daily journal, and then I cleaned it out like in the afternoon, and just waited for the pen to dry and to ink it for the ink for day 30, which is Vinta Inks Salimbay. This is like, it's yummy. It's like candy. This is a bright purple ink with maybe that's a pink shimmer. It's just very pretty, although it writes kind of dry, but maybe it's my fault because I used a medium nib, but over here it's nice, and then it just faded away. I had to prime the feed a little bit, but yeah. And I haven't really written it because, as I said, or did I? It's after 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but there you have it. That's all the writing samples and the swatches for all of the inks. And let me go through what I liked and didn't for all of these. So let me grab my swatch cards and see if I can find it, or maybe later on. But I really loved, I think I love ginger chicken a lot. It was, I'm sorry about the shaking. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. There you go. Sorry. Anyways, so I really liked ginger chicken. Vinta Santa Cruz was like a really nice surprise. I loved it. And then next up, one more Isabella and Alpha Taurus, and then this Colorverse, I Am the Universe. So let me show you this comparison. So this is Alpha Leo right next to Goldfish, and it's very similar, but this is, yeah, it's close, but this might be darker, and there's a hint of green in this ink. I don't know if I'm even in frame. I'm so sorry. I'm a mess. Anyway, there you go. So I'll put it back in. So what I'm using for my swatch card, I'm also gonna do an in-depth video on this, but this is where I keep my swatch card, just a little bit of a card file. But yeah, let me show you the swatch for Santa Cruz. Right there, it's kind of interesting, very pretty. And then the next one are these brownish inks. Let me just get ginger chicken. And then, yeah, so these two browns are really winners for this month. Yeah, ginger chicken. But I do have ancient copper, and it's quite similar, so I don't think I need a bottle of that. Let me see, where's ancient copper? Let me just make a comparison, right? I'm already here. We're already here, and we're already doing this. But maybe ancient copper do look like redder in this swatch, but they're very similar. So let me put that. Yeah. And then next one, the other favorites are Pillars of Creation and Isabella. I don't know where I put that ink. Swatch. It's a little it's an ink that is, so this is Isabella. There you go. Yeah, very pretty. And then last one is Colorverse Pillars of Creation. So this swatch is just sheen, honestly. It's just that, it's just sheen, so nothing to see there. Although if you look closely, the base color picks, like the base color shows up just a tiny bit. So there you have it. 30 inks, 30 days. Like, and anyway, the inks that I didn't enjoy as much, I said this one totally no. This one too, Cotton Candy, not into that shade of pink, not into pinks at all. And Fuyugaki too was like a letdown. I didn't really enjoy that. But other than that, like, and then Moonlight of Higashiyama, maybe it's not so much. I didn't really love it, but other than that, it's been quite an enjoyable month with 30 days, and I will keep doing it. I've been doing it for I think since September of 2021. So yeah, and I enjoy it. I get to try all of my inks. And do you participate in 30 days? You know, let me know where I can find those those swatches. in the comments so I can look them up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and consider subscribing. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And yeah, let me know if you want to see anything specific. Leave them in the comments. And thank you for watching. I hope to see you on the next one.